Okay, so welcome to the revised York St John University Global Opportunities Fair. It's our first virtual one, and this is our last session. So this is for the State University of New York, and we're joined today by Krista, who can talk us through everything. So if we can just ask that everybody is muted whilst the presentation is taking part, and then we'll take questions at the end if that's okay. So I'll now hand over to you, Krista.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the time today. I know this is probably a very busy time in your semester. So I'm excited to see you all and see that there's interest in potentially coming on exchange to the State University of New York at Potsdam. So I thought what I would do is maybe spend the first maybe 10, 15 minutes just giving you a good introduction to the university. We'll talk about location, we'll talk about, academic offerings, and I certainly want to leave time at the end for questions as well. If questions you think come up as I'm talking, go ahead and put them into the chat, and we'll monitor that and be able to get you the information that you need to make an informed decision. So the State University of New York is part of what we call the SUNY system, the State University of New York. Potsdam is just one of those campuses. There's actually 64 different SUNY campuses across the state of New York. We are one of the smaller, what they call comprehensive colleges, meaning we are an institution that awards both bachelor degrees as well as master's degrees. There are larger SUNY institutions that would also award PhD degrees. And then there's smaller, what we call our two-year institutions, kind of like a community college experience where students are earning just a two-year associate's degree versus the bachelor's degrees. So SUNY Potsdam sort of fits in the middle as far as the SUNY system. We are actually the oldest SUNY campus. We were founded more than 200 years ago. And in fact, we are one of the oldest 50 universities in the United States. It may not seem like a long time in the eyes of some of the older UK institutions that have a couple hundred years of experience, but to have that kind of experience behind us is actually quite notable and something that we're extremely proud of. The university itself was founded as a teaching institution. In fact, it was a college for teacher education for a very long time. And we became a part of the SUNY system in the 1950s. Since then, I would say SUNY Potsdam has established itself in a number of different academic areas. We sort of have a hold on some expertise in academic areas such as music and the performing arts, the studio arts. We're actually one of the designated arts campuses of the State University of New York system. But we certainly have other academic areas as well. We have a very strong anthropology, archaeology program. Again, teacher education is absolutely at our core, as well as a number of other arts and sciences majors. And what's really interesting is SUNY Potsdam has been partnering with York St. John for a very, very long time. In fact, I think we're more than 3 decades of partnership. The reason why our partnership has lasted this long is because there is a lot of similarities between our institutions as far as the academic offerings. And so for you coming to SUNY Potsdam as a York St. John exchange student, I can assure you that we have a lot of academic offerings that are going to work well with whatever courses you are pursuing. We call them majors. I know you refer to them as courses. So we have a very good alignment when it comes to the academic areas, and that has always made this partnership work for students exchanging back and forth. I can tell you that previous York St. John students coming to SUNY Potsdam have had extraordinary experiences. They have loved their time on our campus. In fact, I think we even stole a student or two that ended up remaining at SUNY Potsdam to complete their degree. So I know I can feel really confident that we haven't had a lot of negative experiences of students coming to Potsdam. Really, students have been able to kind of dive into the experience and have really walked away very enriched from being on our campus, even for just a 4-month time frame. Our students, obviously going to York St. John for all the very same reasons, have had extraordinary experiences as well. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to share my screen, and I'd like to do a little overview of our website so that you all can find the information you need, again, to make this informed decision. Right at our homepage, potsdam.edu, you can see there's video rolling in the background. I encourage you to come back and take a look at this. In fact, I'm going to show you a quick YouTube clip here in just a couple of minutes. But if we scroll down, you can see, I like to talk about this. We call it an uncommon college experience in Northern New York. You probably may even have some preconceived ideas about what it is to be at a US university, right? We think of large university, large, massive sports. We think of Greek life, students' involvements in fraternities and sororities. You probably have some of those preconceived ideas. And we like to say that Potsdam is the uncommon college experience. And we think that's driven from our size, but also those academic areas that I said that we are quite well known for. You can see right in the statistic of we have over 400 arts performances per year, which is extraordinary considering the size of our university is only around 3,200 students. So we're a very small institution, but our focus on the arts has this very sort of prominent position within the North Country of Northern New York. You can also see that our student to faculty ratio is extremely small. We are actually one of the lowest within the State University of New York system, and we're some of the lowest in the country, actually. So if you come to Potsdam, you're going to know that your class sizes are going to feel really small. You're going to know that you have access to your faculty. We don't have teaching assistants. We don't have graduate assistants teaching our classes. It is the faculty member, where a good majority of those faculty have doctorate degrees in their fields, have been well established with research and well established with their own sort of writing and publishing in their field of expertise. So you're in very good hands that way. If we scroll down a little bit more, we do have what we call 3 schools. I know York St. John, I think, has like 5 schools, 5 or 6. We only have 3. And so they're divided into one of our most prestigious programs, number 1, the Crane School of Music. And talking about that long-term reputation, SUNY Potsdam and the Crane School of Music is actually the birthplace of music education in the United States. So we talk about that long, long history of teacher education. Music education was sort of formulated at the Crane School of Music. So that's something really notable. What that sort of equates to, obviously, is an excellent music experience for students that might want to exchange for a semester of music performance, the business of music, technology, and then, of course, music education as well. We have the School of Education and Professional Studies, which encompasses our teacher education programs, as well as our business administration program and our exercise science program and health program. And then the School of Arts and Sciences is our largest school. If you clicked on any one of these, it will take you to sort of an introduction of the school itself. And obviously you can look up to see what courses are offered. If we scroll down, there's even some more photos and videos where you can see the experiences of students in the school. You can do a virtual tour of the entire campus from these pages as well. If you want to learn about whether or not SUNY Potsdam has the courses that you're interested in, right from the SUNY Potsdam homepage, you would just click on Programs of Study. That will give you a search field where you can look up your particular area of study. So I know that York St. John offers criminology. York St. John offers police studies. We don't actually name our programs the same way, but we do have criminal justice, which is going to have a lot of the same kinds of programs that you're going to find in the courses of criminology and police studies at York St. John. If you click on, you can see this is an important distinction, actually, I'll explain. You're probably familiar with the North American education system tends to classify programs where students pursue the bachelor's degree in what we call a major. This is, again, what you would call a course. We also have the option for students, because we're so focused in the liberal arts, for students to pursue a minor, which is basically like a smaller concentrated study. So in this case, I mean, if you wanted to earn a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, obviously you would want to pursue the BA track. But if you were a psychology major or a politics major, but you also wanted to have some exposure to the criminal justice field, then obviously you'd probably want to tack on the criminal justice minor as well. But for you coming on exchange, I think it's best to focus on the bachelor area, because that is going to give you an introduction to the department itself. Here you can see student perspectives that are certainly important for you to make your decision to come to Potsdam. And then on each individual department page, if you scroll down, you can see on the left side here, there's going to be deeper information shared about the courses, what classes actually are going to be taught in that discipline. So for criminal justice, you can see there's criminology. So we don't call it criminology, but we obviously have a focus in that area, crime and justice. You can see that a lot of our majors actually are interdisciplinary in nature. So we're drawing from other discipline areas. So for criminal justice, we've got sociology in there, we've got politics in there, we've got math and statistics, because we know that as a good researcher, you need to have those foundations. And then we have electives built from a wide variety of areas. The philosophy of law. Obviously, it's not a sociology course, it's a philosophy course, but it's important for sort of that broader understanding of the criminal justice field. Yeah, so I'm going to actually pull this down. I just can't access the top link here, and I'm going to share this in the chat fields. But one of your best resources as you start to navigate whether or not SUNY Potsdam is a good choice is to see what classes are offered at Potsdam. The best way to do that is to access our class schedules for each semester. So if I just pull up our upcoming spring semester schedule, I just want to give you a quick overview of how to read this timetable. This entire document is focused on providing you with information by alphabetical area for the department. So A through Z of all of the academic areas that we teach. So if you came to Potsdam and knew that you wanted to pick up some anthropology coursework, here are all of the courses taught in that major for the spring semester. You can see the name of the course. You can also see this numbering. The numbering of the courses is going to be really important for you, because we probably want you steering away from taking introductory courses. You've already taken these courses or are taking these courses as a York St. John student. We probably want you focusing on more upper division courses. So we'll probably want you having some focus on the 200 levels, the 300 level, and the 400 level programs. Keep in mind that most bachelor's degrees in the United States are 4 years in time. I know some of the UK programs can either be a 3-year general degree or a 4-year honors degree. All of our bachelor's degrees are 4-year degrees. And so it's easy if you think 100 level classes, 200, 300, 400, the higher you go in numbers, the more confident we're going to be that those courses are going to translate back for you as those upper division courses that you need. I will walk you through this once you decide to come to Potsdam and we know what semester you're coming for. I will help you sort of navigate how to choose the classes. So I'm being mindful of time here. I do want to show you just a fun 1 minute, 1.5 minute YouTube video. I'll also put the link in the chat for our YouTube channel so that you can check out some other experiences of our students and our faculty and our staff. So let me do this quickly.
I chose SUNY Potsdam because I grew up playing sports around here, and it was a community that I felt comfortable with. It was just the right amount of distance for being away from home, being close to home. And I really didn't think I was going to get in, and then I did, and I was so excited. I said, like, this is the place for me. So, yeah. I really enjoyed just coming up here and feeling like I was at home.
My application was in before Thanksgiving my senior year, so, and now I've been here for 2 years and I love it.
So again, just a quick little snippet of who we are at SUNY Potsdam. Again, being mindful of time, I want to make sure that if any of you have questions, that you have the ability to ask those. So if you want to throw them into the chat or turn off your mic and ask right away, that's totally fine too.
So much for that, Krista. I'll wait and see if anybody pops up with any questions. But
Sure.
I think one of the things we often get asked for you is how far away from New York are you? Because I know it's obviously New York State, but people hear New York and tend to get excited.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So sorry, I should have focused a little bit more on the place component, but we're located in northern New York. So we're at the very top of New York State. We're actually alongside the border of Canada. You might be able to hear a little bit of a Canadian accent. I'm actually a Canadian citizen. I was born and raised in Canada, but I've lived in Potsdam for 20 years. We're very rural location, very, very small town. If you think of small town USA or small university towns in the United States, we are that kind of experience. From New York City, driving distance is around 6 or 7 hours, actually. It's a very, very large state. And so that if you wanted to have that Manhattan experience, it's not SUNY Potsdam. But what we will tell you is come to Potsdam and use us as sort of the jumping off point to be able to explore all kinds of places across New York State, where our proximity to Canada, our first sort of largest international city is Ottawa, Canada, and Montreal, Canada, which are only about an hour and a half, 2-hour driving distance from the campus. So we're actually closer to larger cities in Canada than we are within the state of New York. Previous exchange students have definitely taken advantage of the ability to explore that northern New York region with the Adirondacks. If you love the outside, you love sort of that mountainous experience, skiing, snowboarding, rock climbing, ice climbing, winter camping, summer camping, we have all of that with the Adirondack Park just outside of our campus, probably about a half-hour drive from the campus itself. Other students obviously use Potsdam as the home, but then explore other parts of New York State. Almost all students make it to New York City at some point. Almost all of our visiting exchange students drive to Niagara Falls to be able to see that wonder of the world. And then other students have used sort of our break periods to explore Florida or California or Seattle. You know, they'll use us as the home, but then jump off to other locations. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't blame people really. That sounds amazing.
No, it is.
I think, you know, for us, it sounds, when you say it's 6 hours away, you think, oh, that sounds really far. But for you guys in the US, that's quite nearby, isn't it?
Exactly.
For us, you know, you do the full country in 6 hours, I think.
Exactly. It does seem like a long distance, but students will pool together and, you know, jump on a bus or, you know, drive down with another student from New York State to be able to see that area. A lot of our students who come on exchange in the fall end up getting invitations to students' homes for Thanksgiving. You know, so actually a good majority of our music students come from the New York City and Long Island region. And a lot of times I'm hearing from our students that they're going to visit a family member in, you know, Long Island or the city for the Thanksgiving break. So, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. And do you get many international students, and do they sort of mix well with your home students? Do you find that typically?
Yeah, not surprisingly, a majority of our international students come from Canada, just given our proximity to the border. But we do get students from all over the world. Our numbers are a little on the low side. There's a lot of explanations for that. You don't have to look too far than sort of the American politics system to understand some of the reasons why our numbers have dropped. But we are working hard to encourage students to come, and they do. They feed right into the campus. Even though we are in a very small rural location, it's an extremely diverse experience for students. We have students from all over the state, all over the country, and then of course the world coming to us. We also have Clarkson University, which is a private university in the town of Potsdam. We have another private university and another SUNY school within probably about a 15-minute drive. So there's 4 universities in a very, very concentrated area. So there really is that sort of university town experience with a lot of students and scholars around. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I don't know if anybody else has any questions, or yeah, feel free to turn your mic off or pop them in the chat box if you do. It's often the way you think of questions afterwards, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I encourage any of you to reach out to me. Something that you and my colleagues at York St. John have talked a lot about is wanting to have that record experience of exchange numbers for next fall or maybe the following spring. So anything that I can do to help inform you on the experience of coming to Potsdam, please let me know. I fell in love with York St. John when I visited a few years ago. I've been there twice now, and I know the experience that you have in York just translates so well to the Potsdam community. And that's why this partnership has worked so well, because it's just been a good fit for folks. So I see a question from George here in studying music. Marching band, unfortunately, we don't have a marching band. I know that is very much a part of the US college experience, but we interestingly don't have the larger sports to align with the need for a marching band. We don't have American football, you know, some of those larger sports that would have that. But we do have a number of ensembles. We have auditions for some of those ensembles. Some of them are open to non-music majors even. Some of those ensembles are quite large. So there's all kinds of opportunities for you to have sort of a performance experience as a music student. It's embedded right into the curriculum. That's one of the reasons why York has lost a couple of music students, is because they've been able to have these really immersive resume building kinds of performance experiences when they come to Crane. Yes, Shelby, we definitely have a cheerleading team, and you would be more than welcome to try out for that team if you came to us in a fall semester. The tryouts happen in the fall at the beginning of the term. Even if you do only stay with us for a semester, we have had exchange students participate in cheerleading and some of our other sort of NCAA sports. If it's an NCAA sport, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to get a spot on a team, because it's a little bit more networked into collegiate sports across the United States. Yeah, so we have a lot of club sports. These would be those non-NCAA sports where if from the Potsdam homepage, you can do a little searching on the top fields and you can find student clubs and organizations. And we do have basketball, we have tennis, we have rugby, we have gaming sports as well that would be open to visiting exchange students. So you're welcome to take part in any of those, even though you're only coming to us for a 4-month time frame. Winter sports is a passion for Northern New York. With our proximity to the Adirondacks, you will have a lot of opportunities to explore downhill skiing, snowboarding, tubing, rock climbing, ice climbing. I mean, all of these are organized over day or weekend trips throughout the fall and spring semesters. I am, Shelby, super hopeful that fall 2021 will happen. SUNY as a system has suspended study abroad participation through the upcoming spring semester, and we as a campus have made that decision to suspend study abroad for the summer term. We are extremely hopeful that if a widely available vaccine can emerge over the next couple of months, that exchange opportunities will open for the fall 2021 semester. If for some reason we need to continue the pause for that semester, we're hopeful that spring 2022 can resume. I know spring semesters can be challenging for you all. I know the preference is that it would be a fall exchange, but we have been able to navigate this for students in the past to be able to come to us for a spring semester and for our students to go to you for a spring semester.
Yeah, I think just to add to that from our point of view as well, we've cancelled our outgoing for this year again because of COVID and everything, but we are hopeful. We are promoting for 21-22 academic year. But what we would say for us is we only have one application window, which is from the 1st of December to the 8th of January, and that'll be it for that academic year. So I would say apply. You can withdraw if you need to, if you have to, that's absolutely fine. There's no penalty for that. There'll be no fees, nothing like that. So, if it's something you're interested in, apply for it. You can always change your mind at a later date, but if you miss the round of applications, then it would be too late, unfortunately. So, so definitely give it a go, and we're all very hopeful. I think everyone seems to be being quite optimistic for next year. We're hoping for a much better year than this one.
Yeah, I think we're all craving these face-to-face experiences again, right? And I know, Shelby, you asked about actual classes. We're actually trying, and we have, just given our focus on the performing arts, we do have quite a number of classes, even this semester, that have been taught face-to-face. We did not make a mandate across the university that all classes had to be remote or virtual. We actually put emphasis on how do we make sure that students who need to be in a face-to-face environment, performing theater, music, students in our sciences, our physical sciences need to be in the lab. We put a lot of emphasis on how to do that safely, and we're hoping that that number just increases for the spring semester, and then of course for next fall as well. But we know, why would you want to come on exchange if you're just going to sit virtually in your dorm room? That's not really an authentic and immersive experience. So we'll walk you through that, and I'll keep in contact with my colleagues at York to let them know that what the teaching pedagogy and modalities are going to be as we move forward. Yeah. I'm going to throw my direct email into the chat. I'd love to hear from any of you offline if you have questions. I would be more than willing to set up a Zoom individually with any one of you that just needs some more information, particularly if you're looking at music and want to understand more about the audition process and how that goes, or if you want to get connected to a faculty member in any one of our disciplines, I can help make those connections happen too. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal. That's really helpful.
Right.
There's been no more questions pop up. If nobody's got any others, then I'll stop the recording now.
Excellent.